Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're on.
Yay!
We're on now. Hello.
Hey.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. Yes, we're back. Back again. We were off last week, but we're back this week. I'm so happy. I missed you guys. We did talk, but still, I miss spending multiple hours with you in a contained, controlled environment.
Don't say contained infinity, because then I'll have an existential crisis.
Contained infinity? I don't even know
Oh,
why. Why?
don't even forget I said
now
anything.
I have to
nope,
ask.
Nope, forget I said literally anything. Forget that phrase.
I've been here for like 12 seconds. I'm starting problems,
Forget that
John.
phrase.
Yeah.
what just
Think
happened?
about it.
Oh, we're not streaming Kings of Neon. I forgot to change a thing. Whoops. Let me change that real quick. So what's going on with you guys? How are you?
No, I'm doing good, man. I don't like this new setup. Is this a new setup on the Twitch? Look at this. Oh, we get to do the whole Taylor, and then for some reason Rich is over us. Why is Rich over us?
You know, Rich is
like some overlord or something just sitting up
You
there.
don't like that?
That
You
ain't
don't like
right.
the authority? I had real trouble determining how I wanted to set up a 3-person camera. Like the 6-person one for Kings of Neon made me very happy because it's symmetrical.
Yes.
And the 5 of us for Firelight Tales, it stresses me out. I'm not going to lie. The lack of symmetry makes me berserk. I feel like I'm not utilizing screen space effectively. I think all our windows are too big. Now I'm talking like real how the sausage gets made. But I think we're going to have a nice new overlay for Firelight Tales when we come back with the full gang next week.
Nice.
Sparkle, sparkle.
Bear with me here. I'm changing our stream description. And I'm trying not to spell it incorrectly because I'm not that great at typing. This is a known quantity about me. Sorry. Okay, cool.
I like doing the whole
what is
Brady
this?
Bunch thing. You know, you get
I know, yeah.
It's
Look
very
around.
fun, right? It's very fun.
Oh no, I totally looked the wrong way. John, you're to my right, but I'm turning to my left.
The both of you to my left.
So what's going on? What else? What have you guys done since last week? I realize every week I ask, like, how was your week? And everybody's like, my week just started. But I just mean, since I saw you last week.
Well, we did it, but now it's been 2 weeks.
I know, now it has been 2 weeks. How was everybody's 2 weeks? What's going on in your lives?
It was good. I told you guys I planted 220 Vinca minors.
Yeah, John's getting his gardening on.
Yeah, my knee is still recovering, and I blew out a $125 commercial cordless drill, making holes in clay.
Oh.
So,
Yep.
But that was good. And doing all that stuff, man. Working on my airplane too, trying to get that stuff done.
Nice.
So,
How is it coming now? What have you had it for like about a year, right?
sadly, more than a year. I got my panel put in. It's gonna sound crazy, but shit takes time, man. It really does.
It does, right?
Yeah. So, but I got my panel put in, and which is what holds all your instruments for flying around, so you know where you're going. So I got that put in, and then I'm wiring now, which is involved. So.
That's got to be a little bit stressful too. You're like wiring an airplane, not a like friggin', what do you call it?
That is in my wheelhouse. I got to be honest.
Cleaner.
That is.
It is. I know this is a thing you do. For those out there who are curious about such things, John is in fact a professional at repairing airplanes. So fear not. This is not like him going totally off the reservation. Like, yeah, I could do this at home. No problem.
Hold the bear.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, hold my beer. Oh, gosh. Cool. So, we're short a couple of people still. Our in-house bard, the Minotaur Angus Brighthorn, played by the illustrious Kurt Clark, has had a couple of busy work weeks. Our associate, Crixus Copperstone, I feel like I'm saying his name wrong every time I say it, but Crixus, the Genasi, the draconic Genasi, is he's busy. He's juggling life. And so I was like, what do you say, you guys? One more round of let's make Taylor deal with emotions.
yay.
I'm excited for tonight, but I am also equally excited for next week because Crixus usually comes in here shot out of a cannon anyway, and after like a 2 or 3 week break, I'm gonna need to put a seatbelt on my chair. I'm telling you. So.
Yeah, everybody better strap in. Turn your volumes down in your headphones. Brace yourself. It's gonna be like, to date myself a little bit, that old Dolby commercial. We're gonna be like in the chairs, just completely obliterated by the sheer force of personality of Crixus Copperstone when he returns.
Man, I think at this point, is that like a 5% joke? You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably. We're old, but I was part of a trivia game the other night where they were asking questions about like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, and I was like, we're not that old. We're in good shape. We're still young enough that I like only vaguely know who they were,
Awesome.
Cool. So what else? Nothing else really crazy exciting happening? You guys reading anything, watching anything good?
Oh man, I just finished that book that Kurt turned me on to.
Yeah, what was it called?
I'm
gonna put you on
that.
the spot.
Yeah, that would be way too easy if I just knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really good, man. It was a whole fantasy book.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was outrageous. I gotta look up the name of it in a minute here, but. So.
For anybody out there who does not follow Kurt Clark, who's here on the streams at DM Philly, you should follow him. Hit him up, get him on Facebook, because he's like crushing books. I forget how many he's trying to do, like 52 books this year, I think is his goal. And just tremendous recommendations from like all over the gambit, from like the D&D cookbook Heroes Feast to like this murder mystery to like these ridiculous comedic fantasies that he had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, which yes,
all right,
it's on my list.
Good, the Bad by Tom Holt.
One more time, The Good, the Bad, and the what?
The Good, the Bad, and the Smug by Tom Holt. Okay. Really good. It was really good. It took me it was on a Kindle. So it took me I'm going to say like a quarter of the book to really get invested.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was good. It was really good. So
nice.
I enjoyed it.
I have a list at this point of all the stuff that's been recommended by the various people that I'm like playing games with over here nowadays. And there's so much stuff, you guys. Like can barely keep up. Shameless Sanderson plug from This Thing. Thank you, This Thing, for stopping in. Dear friend and family, This Thing. I'm ready. I'm like bracing myself for the Sanderson trailer.
I can't wait. I'm in Wheel of Time. I'm obsessed. I'm loving it. I'm listening to it every second that I can.
And you're still on the first book? You're about to wrap? Okay.
Yeah.
I want us to have a like powwow meeting. Maybe we just like come on here and turn the camera on for an hour to like wax poetic about the Wheel of Time, because I'm really excited to talk about it. And I'm so grateful that you read it. And for anybody out there, no lie, you'll buy me every book, This Thing? Yo, get me this guy's address, Taylor.
He will. He bought me like every book. So.
Well, that's a little different.
Well, he's also trying to be with Brandon Sanderson for the rest of his life. Brandon Sanderson
That's going to be tough. I've heard that he has a very loving family, but
exactly.
I was watching Brandon Sanderson's YouTube the other day. Brandon Sanderson, for John's sake, is the guy who like came in. For
John's sake, but it is true. But I love it.
So the Wheel of Time is this 14-book series, was written by this guy Robert Jordan, who was a pretty wild guy, had like a crazy life. He was like a helicopter pilot in Vietnam and stuff, but big fantasy fan. And it's really an extraordinary series. But he gets sick before he's about to finish. He knows like, hey, I've got a terminal diagnosis. His wife is his editor that he met when he was like a young man and started the series. And she works at Tor Books, where Sanderson is like this young up and coming author who wrote like a dedication to Robert Jordan in one of his first books about like, I love this guy's work. He inspired me. This is why I'm an author, And so this dude's wife was like, this is the guy. And they pulled Brandon Sanderson and were like, yo, do you want to write the last 3 Wheel of Time books? And he's just like, it's like big time stuff for this kid, right? Like it would be like me getting pulled like, hey, do you want to write like the next series of like the Dragonlance Chronicles, Like it's huge. And he killed it. He did such a good job, John. Like it blows me away when I think about the fact that this guy had to like step in, and he had a lot of notes. Like, Robert Jordan wrote a lot of those last books in terms of, like, here's chapters that I absolutely need to produce myself. But Sanderson is, like, the contemporary, like, science fiction author or fantasy author of the world. You know, he's, like, the guy right now.
Yeah.
And he's great. He's really smart. He's a really chill dude.
Amazing.
And the books are, like, beloved by those, like, Taylor and this thing.
It's really cool having read Sanderson and then reading Wheel of Time, because I can see
the influence.
Yeah, like they're very like clear, and being somebody who reads books is like half reader, half like, oh, these are interesting things as an author to do.
Mm-hmm.
There I can see the influence, and it's so cool, and I'm loving it.
It's remarkable how, like, the art begets art thing, right? Because, like, the whole first Wheel of Time book is, like, an homage to the Lord of the Rings. Like, it's like, what if we did the Lord of the Rings, but with no hobbits? They're all, like, humans in this little village, you know? Which, in many ways, Titan's Heirs is an homage to the Lord of the Rings, except with more dungeons and more dragons. Was that a good segue? Did I do that right?
That's good.
Are we going to start playing? Are we doing that here?
Yeah, we could do that tonight. It is 9:19.
We don't like have to.
I'm still talking about the Wheel of Time. Taylor's stalling so she doesn't have to kill anyone from Erkengard, because tonight, episode 12.2 will be the technical titling. We should have name titles. I should start naming these episodes. God, I got to get better at this. Episode 12.2, part 2, with the adventures of patrol leader Sharpe and the goblin cleric of Virago, Hilx Strongbone. So last time that we met with the two of you, we met, what's your character's name, Taylor?
Kana Sharpe.
Kana Sharpe, known just as Sharpe amongst the Sapphire Legion, an elite scout of the military forces, fresh off of a campaign wherein a legion of druids were driven from forested territory in the Sapphire Dynasty, now conscripted to serve under the forces of Baroness Verleth, the first dragoon, Melkainen, as you plunge through the Drakencaern Mountains, searching for the lost weapons of the Great War and any resistance that straggles in these wild parts of the world. Along with you, goblin cleric of Virago, Hilx Strongbone, born the son of, what's your father's name?
Oh my goodness. Twice that you throw me. I don't think I ever named him in the bio.
That's true.
Grizz Strongbone.
Grizz Strongbone.
I love it.
Hilx Strongbone, son of Grizz Strongbone, who was taken up out of the caves in the empty, desolate parts of the world and indoctrinated in the ways of the Sapphire Legion. And so Hilx grew up devout, revered son of his empress, right? Is that reasonable paraphrasing?
I'll take it.
A human ranger, a hunter, a goblin cleric of the fire domain, the pair of you.
The only question, I have one question for...
Sure, many questions. Let's
Taylor
go.
here. No, for Taylor. Your last name is Sharpe. Do you have topography? Because we all know Sharpies are supposed to be used on maps. So I was just wondering if you have topography.
I should. That would be the smart thing.
It should be an option. We'll have to remedy that. Let me make notes in my homebrew notebook. I do have notes here. Let me get my notes. Aha. Got it. Topography. Okay. So, we played a few weeks ago, and so the pair of you, having been conscripted as part of this force, some 30 wyverns with riders, 2 full fists of warg riders, and a few hundred troops and camp followers. It took you 10 days solidly traveling up into the Drakencaerns before you came across the village of Erkengard. Its feeble resistance presented itself to you, but you shattered it easily. Many were killed, more were captured. In the immediate days afterwards, Hilx, you were pulled aside by Melkainen, the first dragoon, a holy knight of your god queen Virago, the blue dragon empress of the storms. And Melkainen, this minotaur paladin, put you to the task of interrogating the corpse of a dead Alagi.
Nailed it, if I do say so myself. But
yeah, it was actually fantastic. You did nail it, except for that one question where you asked if he could hear you while he was dead. 4 out of 5 aces.
Eat bad.
Don't want to set the bar too high, man.
And so after interrogating the corpse of this strange Sasquatch-like giant and then getting some information from the Baroness Verilith herself, who had scoured the mind of the ogre mage Ursula Vandrin, also captive, the pair of you went off after the Alagi who had escaped. You managed to track them. You were attacked in the night by giant eagles. One of the patrol members of Sharpe's patrol, Voron, was killed by eagles. Another, Caden, was obliterated by the strokes of lightning as Rogosh the Hawkeye, not at all inspired by the names from the Wheel of Time, came roaring over the mountain. He called a storm, and he brought down lightning on top of you. And as he was trying to escape, and in the final moments of the fight, as it became clear he could not easily overwhelm you, Hilx, with his magic, the blessings of Virago herself, laid him low and made the call to take him captive and bring him back to camp. Taylor, I'm really sorry. I think we find ourselves some days later, as the camera finally opens up, we see the sprawling vistas of the Erkengard Mountains stretching out all around us. I'm sorry, I'm just banning this guy. We see the sprawling vistas of the Drakencaern Mountains all about you. A truly majestic and overwhelming sight up here as this cluster of military forces lays kind of scattered around the bowl that was the central square of Erkengard. The fires from the attacks have burned themselves out. There are pens of prisoners, others of wargs. Most of the wyverns are out flying patrols. There are command tents set up, but all manner of people, from elves to goblins, from dwarves to dragonborn, kind of move through the camp in their various shades of blue armor. And it's as we take in all of this that the camera kind of pulls itself down in to a small cluster of soldiers that sit eating early in the morning of this particular day. Amongst them are patrol leader Sharpe and the cleric Hilx.
Do we know about how far we are from getting back to camp?
Oh no, you're back to camp.
Okay,
it's a few days
I
later.
misunderstood.
No problem. I think you're back to camp. You've handed off your prisoner, and it's like a few days after your patrol out there, right? It's like 2 or 3 days later. Your prisoner having been handed over to Melkainen himself and interrogated. And so as we come in over the two of you, I think, we like see you kind of getting your morning meal, like meeting up around the fire as you're wont to do.
Nice. And is Sharpe there? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's kind of like being herself and maybe like leaning up against something, eating. She's not like kind of congregating at the moment. It's the morning. She doesn't really want to deal with too many people.
Yeah, I guess I would get some food and slide on over. So.
So you sit down in with them.
So I just turn and look at her. So, have you been recovering well from the trip? It seemed like some of your hair might have gotten burned when you got hit by lightning all those times.
Yeah, it was a little frizzy for a few days, but you know, I don't care. Keep it braided. That's the trick. It's fine. How about you?
I wasn't sure if it was my magic that made your arrows burst into flames or the lightning causing them to light up. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun trick. It's really useful. By the way.
Yes, he is great and powerful cleric. I think Wojciech the goblin.
There he is.
The reluctant volunteer for the last mission comes wandering up. He's kind of attached himself to Hilx since this foray.
Really?
Yeah, and he's very much like he like comes walking up like, "You have food? All right, good."
Human assistant.
Yeah. Yes, he's like standing next to Hilx with this bowl, like watching you, Sharpe, eating.
What are you looking at?
Not so sure.
What's your name again?
Wojciech. W-O-I Zeph. Wojciech.
Gotta be a better name for you. Like
That's what I said.
Like Grub or something.
No, nope. That Lothar's last name.
I thought you said wait staff. I thought that's why you were helping me so much.
That good point. My family have long history in service. My first military distinguishment.
That's good. I like that. Wait staff.
Maybe don't call me that anymore, though. Wait, Zeph.
Well,
what's the matter? You look bored.
I am bored. It's been days. I've got nothing to do.
Maybe we go ask. They give us some prisoners for killing.
That's not fun.
Oh.
Killing people that we already have taken prisoner? That's not the point of that. They're prisoners.
He's like watching Hilx to see how you react. If like you think maybe it's a more exciting idea.
Totally indifferent. No, Hilx isn't really into that.
Never mind. It's like at this point, like the half elf collie who was like with you on the last patrol comes over too and like takes a seat nearby, and she's like, "I'm bored too. Don't know how long it's going to be before we're out again. You have any word on where we go next? What happens after this?"
Nothing. I don't know. All I can think about is it took forever. Those stinking, what were they called? A laggy?
A laggy. That's what they called them.
Oh, they're so gross.
Yes.
The hairy, matted fur. Did you hear how they were like talking to each other? Like I was trying to like make the noise. I can't even make the noise.
Barely thinking creatures. I can't believe that the one had that kind of control over magic. Savages, though, druids. We've seen enough of them.
Sad, really. It'd be so much easier if they just submitted.
Well, I'll say I'm glad that you took me to go with you. You two really distinguished yourselves with that catch.
You know. All in a day's work.
Yes, I suppose so. I can't wait to get out of these mountains, though, I'll be honest with you. It's, well, not all that I hoped it might be.
I don't mind it. Tracking's not too bad. It's kind of fun. It's more exciting, for sure.
I think the wind like blows through the camp. We see like some pennants flapping and like tent flaps blowing, and I think that we see like a younger human, actually probably like a girl, like a teenage girl in like a blue tabard, which denotes her as like one of the runners or like the messengers here in the camp, and she's like kind of running up the hill towards the lot of you, and you see like she like is looking and looking, and she catches sight of your little cluster and is clearly like running right for you, and I think Kali's like, well, speak of the devil, I don't imagine she's looking for me. And this girl comes like running up, like, and she's like, I'm looking for patrol leader Sharpe.
Yeah, that's me. What you got?
And,
What news?
And you, sir, you're the cleric Strongbone Hilx.
Yeah, that's what they keep telling me.
Melkainen sent me to fetch you. He wants to meet with you down at the command tents as soon as you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready now. Let's go. She like tosses her bowl on the table.
Yeah. I put mine down too on top of hers, and I look at waitstaff and I go, "Take care of those, please."
Yes, boss. And I think waitstaff like goes like running over the table, and he like stops, realizing like what you called him as the pair of you were walking away. Like,
I didn't call him waitstaff to his face.
oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, that's important. Hilx knows where his waitstaff gets buttered. So this like girl like kind of walking with the two of you as you're making your way kind of like down the paths towards the command tents that are set up like in the square of the village itself, You could see some figures like moving around down there. One of them, the very imposing, ominous, like silhouette of Melkainen, this massive minotaur, right? So yeah, I don't know if you guys are talking, if there's a conversation on the way down or anything.
I can see. How far away are we from Melkainen?
You're far, it's like a couple of like 100 feet, you know what I mean? He's way down at the bottom of this hill.
That one makes me uncomfortable. Go ahead, guess which one I'm talking about.
There's a few I could choose from, but hey, job's a job.
A job implies choice.
Hey, I have fun.
So I think as like the three of you make your way down and you're kind of like approaching the command tents, this minotaur like turns seeing you. He's got this massive kind of morning star mace type weapon hanging from his belt, set over a hook. This like hefty blue armor. You don't see his dragon mount razor strike anywhere in sight, but as he catches sight of you, he's like, "Oh, good, Hilx Sharpe. Just the two I needed. Come." And so the pair of you approach, and he's like, "You did good work capturing that druid. Your choice to bring him back alive was a wise one. We've learned much. Much. It's hard work digging the important bits from his mind. But the Baroness has acquired a great deal of value in the past days."
Great. What can we do next?
Well, we've got scout patrols out in all directions. I'm afraid to say I think we've lost a fist of the wargs. I expected one of their outriders to return by now, but we haven't heard from them. Nevertheless,
Who did we lose a fist to?
I think it's the children from the village.
The children.
Stragglers. Yes.
Goodness, must be some pretty fearsome kids.
They
Or
were.
a pretty awful patrol. Either one is just as
True.
likely.
True. Yeah.
His
Sometimes,
eyes like narrow a little bit at the suggestion of that.
I shrug.
think,
I just shrug.
Yeah, I think he just says, he's like, "It seems from the ogre magi Vandrin, that these four were trained by the leaders of this place. They're stronger than most of these other villagers. There's a wizard amongst them, trained in the metallurgist ways. She needs to die. The dragon boy we're trying to retrieve. The others are meaningless, though they're carrying powerful weapons. I expect that is the edge that they needed to overcome our soldiers.
That'll do it, I guess. Are we going after him?
I considered sending you, but I'm concerned that if I don't attend to this myself, it will get past us. I do not mean to lose their trinkets in these mountains. I'm taking a dozen wyverns and razor strike, and we will fly west tomorrow with the dawn. I plan to go to the ruins of the tomb of Gural Khan. The Baroness says there should be things stored inside it. Hopefully I will spot these runaways in the mountains and exterminate them on my way. But if not, I will linger there and wait for them to come to me. The Baroness sees much, and she suggests that, well, their path leads that way. For you, I have a more important task. One I would perform myself if not for this other matter. Titan's Hall, he says, the great ruins. There lies there, well, much that was lost in the last war. But from what the Baroness has described, at the top of the highest peak is the anvil of the gods, brought from the old world when the Titans came in the beginning. It was that which they used to forge them all. We must ensure that there is not more lurking for us there than we are ready for. And we must ensure that the anvil still remains.
Right.
I thought, given your success working together, that the two of you might be appropriate for such a task.
Yeah, I could use Hilx.
Yeah, she could use me.
Perhaps more importantly, can you use her?
Yeah, it seems to work out. To keep her from dying. It'll be okay.
We do not have very accurate maps, but I have this. And I think like he takes like parchment out of a scroll tube, kind of at his belt, and he uncorks it and kind of unfurls it, right? And he's showing you this parchment, and it's a rough map, very similar to the one that like the kids are kind of working with, right? There's like these rough landmarks, and he's like, I have no gauge of the distance, save for what the Baroness remembers. She expects that you should be able to reach there with a day or two of travel on wing. We will give you one wyvern. The two of you can take, well, likely one more. Perhaps two might fit with you all on the back. You will take one of the extended saddles. He says, but I am taking the dragon's share of the wyverns with me, and the rest must remain here to patrol as the group begins to move. He says, tomorrow camp will break, and this platoon will begin moving southwards towards Titan's Hall. I would send you out on wing today if you can make ready to scout the location and send back word.
Yeah, of course.
You are more valuable to us than the scouts or the riders, which is why I hope that whatever resistance you might encounter out here, you will be up to the task. I do not wish to lose you on a errand such as this, But if you cannot survive what lies out there, I'm not sure you are worth as much as I think.
It's fair.
Do you think the two of you alone will be sufficient? Would you take more with you?
Wouldn't mind taking a couple more. Collie did well.
I will have the transport saddles affixed to one of the wyverns then. Is there anything else you need?
I don't think so.
Information, resources.
What do we know about Titansong?
It is built on a great rise of a mountain, one of the tallest in the peaks. It says the bulk of the fortifications were in the mountain itself, in the way of the dwarves and the titans, though they were raised and broken in upon themselves by the Baroness's own admission. He says, by wing, you will be able to approach from above. What you need lies at the peak of the summit, the anvil of the gods. You are to locate it, ensure that it still remains, and of course use your discretion, for we cannot be sure what else may lair in this place now.
Okay.
Wow.
He says, there's no need for you to delve into the tunnels themselves. I believe your vantage from the sky on Wyvernback will give you the tactical mobility you need to survey the mountain, discern if it has any occupants, and keep yourselves alive.
Okay.
So, respectfully, is this all based off of the memories of somebody that was here 900 years ago? I'm just trying to understand how much I might have to actually figure out on my own.
He looks at you for a moment, Hilx, like,
No disrespect intended.
of course not. The Baroness is not merely some aged elf. Some part of her power, the greater part, is devoted to the power of Virago. She is blessed beyond even me. If she says that she remembers, then we are to believe.
Understood.
But bring your mind with you. You may have to do more thinking for yourself than it would seem.
Oh.
Do you want us to return with word, or should I send word immediately?
Return if you can. You will find us from the sky, I'm certain. We cannot hide the platoon from the air. Make your way back here and you should spot us on transit. Or spot them. He won't be with them, right? He says, that said, we do not want for the wyvern to die. They are precious resources to Her Majesty. We have brought many up here and lost too many already. But if it does, well, you can send word, can't you?
Yeah.
Good. If things become truly pressing for you, I will be closer than the rest of the Legion. If I must, I can break off some part of my detachment from the tomb to send to you.
What was his name again, Rich? Help me out.
Melkainen.
Oh, that's who we're talking to? Okay.
Yeah.
Big man.
Right.
Big boy. You would think after doing this so long, I would come up with names that, roll off the tongue a little bit better than Melkainen.
So what do you mean? It's a great name.
I thought it's a pretty great name.
It's great.
I thought it was pretty good.
I like
I
it.
haven't been sitting on it for 20 years. So I think that he's just like...
Oh, I missed the pop-up. That's why I'm asking. All right.
I just popped it. So I think that he's just because Kurt's not here. I can pop-ups all day. Pop.
Pop,
Um,
pop.
I think he's just like the Baroness says, "You are equipped for this." I hope that she's right.
Well, she says so. Should be.
It's a very good point. I will have the wyvern saddled.
Great.
All right.
Gather your supplies. Make ready. And so with that, he like kind of turns and stalks off and starts like addressing somebody else near the camp. He's like, you, get the wyvern's transport saddle. They're taking men with them. You know, he's like yelling.
Gee, I don't.
Do you think he's like that when he drinks tea too? He's just really
I think
intense all
so.
the time.
Yeah. I really think so. I was just thinking that. I think that he really is just. He's very intense. I don't think you can avoid it when you look like that though. The horns and the. He's huge. The thing.
He is intense. I gotta give it to you. He's intense.
Yeah, I mean, man, I gotta tell you, Hilx, I don't know if you knew this, but I don't like wyverns. Not a heights. Well, it's not about heights. It's about the flying. They're so. I just don't like it. I don't like it.
I hope they're really smart wyverns because it doesn't sound like you know how to fly one, and I don't know how to fly one.
I can fly one. I'll be fine. I'm confident. Yeah. I'm great at everything. I can fly a wyvern. No problem.
I want horns like his. It would be nice to always have dry socks out in the field. I could just scoop them right over the top of those things.
You could ask. Maybe he'll let you hang your socks on his horns.
But, yeah.
I think
I could ask, but he'd probably just tear the top of my skull off. But
that's likely.
Probably.
I think as the pair of you are like walking up the mountain path, like back to like where the troop encampment is to get your stuff, you know, you hear a scream like ring out in the clearing, and you guys like wheel back. And I think on the far side, past the command tents, you see a couple of people with like the wyvern saddle. The wyvern is like definitely just grabbed one of them and is like rending him in half. You know, it's like thrashing his body around. You just see his legs like flapping, and the wyvern's like. The body like breaks in half as he like swallows part of it, like.
Maybe it's not hungry anymore.
Let's hope. Oh, God.
So you guys make your way back up to your tents. You're able to grab all your gear and your supplies. Sharpe, you want people? You want to go find people?
I think that she would just go for Kali. Like,
okay.
She seemed to like stick around a little bit and like appreciate what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's in Sharpe's corner, and so I think the half-elven scout is like, wyverns, all right, let's do this then. I'm bringing extra bowstrings.
Smart.
How many did they say we have room for? That was it? Maybe one more, or that was it?
You can maybe squeeze one more if they're not big, you know.
Is Voidsept coming with us?
I don't know.
Bring the weight
Was
staff.
he much of a fighter? Refresh my memory.
Yeah, I mean, he hung with the rest of the troop. You know,
Right.
He sat there behind you. When you charged the Alagi, he was the only one to follow you.
I'm trying to get out of lightning range. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But is he there? Like, is he waiting?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you're like at your tent, kind of getting your stuff, suddenly Wojciech is behind you, like, can I help, sir? Shall I carry your shoes?
Dude, do you want to come with us?
Is that an order?
The wyvern will hold you in its maw. It's really gentle, like a mother to its kittens.
Are you asking me to fly on Wyvern Pack with you, sir?
If you'll fit, let's see if we have enough room.
This is a great honor. I am inclined to decline, but I do not think I can.
You are wiser than you look. Grab your things.
That is what my mother said. Yes. And, like he runs off to his tent. He's coming back with his things, you know. And so yeah, the four of you, Kali, Wojciech, Hilx, and Sharpe, with your gear gathered, you're making your way like over to the Wyvern pens, and you see like the 7-foot freaking 400-pound Minotaur, the gigantic like horns, you know, as he's like approaching you, like you two follow their orders. If I receive word from either one of these two that you created problems, we will feed your entrails to Razor Strike when you return, and they will bring you back alive. And the other two are like, and I think Wojciech is like, he like makes this like squeaking sound, you know.
I think Hilx just looks at him. That's one of the things I really like about you. Orders are always crystal clear. There's no mistaking. I like that.
Yes, well, leadership did not come to me naturally, but after I killed enough of my commanders, it came to me through blood. That's a joke.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I almost wet my pants, but it was really good.
Like Wojciech wedding pants now. Yeah, it's okay, and it's just like the troop saddle has been put in place. Supplies, provisions, you have water for 10 days, salted meats and cheese, additional arrows.
Right.
And
You can
just,
handle the wings,
just,
Sharpe.
just protocol. Like the Wyvern's going to stay with us, right? It's not dropping us off in the weaving.
Yeah, no, it won't stay with you. I think he's asking you now, like, Sharpe, are you equipped to handle the Wyvern?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine.
He says, I'm good. If it grows too hungry, it will become unruly with you, so keep it well fed.
Yeah.
The meat has been packed alongside with your own provisions. If you have chance to take prey while you are on the wing, I would let him.
Bye.
Got it. Hold on really tight. I understand.
You two, do not fail them. He is blessed of Virago, our queen, and she may be the best shot in the army. Farewell. We'll look for word of you in some days.
Safe travels.
And
Luck.
so with that, you see there's like this big kind of like almost like, you know, an elephant kind of howdah saddle like strapped on the back of this wyvern, distinctly different from sort of the combat saddles that like these scouts were in and riding on when you battled them the last couple of times. And so, yeah, it's like got like a bench in the back, right? And then like kind of like a whole basket attached to the back of the bench seat with like cargo kind of strapped down into it, you know?
I have this vision of like a chairlift, like a skiing chairlift bench.
It's made of aluminum too, yeah. It's got vinyl on the top covering it. So, you know, I think like Wojciech is like grabbing at your stuff and like kind of like loading it in, and Kali is like climbing her way up, like taking a seat in the back. And she's like, could be better to shoot out of these things, but it'll work. All right. So the four of you are able to like kind of load up. You set your packs in the back. You're each able to kind of like situate yourself. And so I think Sharpe, like taking the reins as the patrol leader of this operation, you like pull them back tight, and the wyvern's like,
Hey, try not to kill us. Thanks.
I'll do my best.
I'll do my best. Kana Sharpe, I'm going to have you make an animal handling check as we get this thing up off the ground.
Yeah.
I'm going to inspire her with a prayer to Virago.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
Virago, bless her for all our sakes.
Yeah.
So you're giving her
Yeah,
guidance.
Grandmother
Is that what you're
Virago.
doing?
This ranger
Please see Sharpe
specifically.
through this so we don't all die and we succeed on your behalf. In Virago's name we pray.
You're giving her guidance, right? You're casting guidance.
Uh,
I think
Yes.
so. It's the cantrip that like adds to her skill checks.
I don't have it.
Oh, okay. Well, so you're just
It's just
being positive.
Yep,
Yeah.
love it. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Roll it up, kinda.
Yeah, this ranger, I was like, she's gonna be good at everything except like the animal
for
part of being a
animals.
ranger. Yep.
Oh. So I think
It is
that,
a
like,
well-trained mount, and it's not under stress.
oh no, yeah, it's not gonna like try to kill you or anything, just don't roll like that in combat. So I think it like leaps up out of like the area, and it's like and Sharpe, you like yank the reins to like pull it to turn south, and it's like fighting against you. It knows that like you're not its normal driver, and it's just like thrashes around just a little bit. It's not trying to like throw you from its back. It's accustomed to riders, but it is like you get this moment, I think, Sharpe, where like it turns this long serpentine neck and it does like the dinosaur thing of like, I'm looking at you with one eye and go fuck yourself also. You know what I mean? And like just like and I think you hear something. Yeah.
I turned to Sharpe and I'm like, if we fall off this thing, we get to fly for the rest of our life.
Worth noting, there are seat belts. You know what I mean? You
come
definitely like strap yourself in, because like otherwise everybody would be falling out of these goddamn things left and right. So you are able to like kind of belt yourself in, right? There's like the strap that goes around and kind of holds you back to the bench. So the Wyvern like takes off and is like definitively going in the wrong direction, and you just have to like fight with it a little bit, Sharpe. Like it's not being very compliant and easy. And so finally, after like a minute or two of it being like, no, I am flying, you are like attached to me, we go where I want to go, you like yank the reins in hard and the thing like pitches arcing, and you could see like the immensity of kind of the mountains now. All of you like this high up have this like unbelievable sight of all of it, right? And the Wyvern like pulls up further until like it kind of like vanishes into the cloud bank. And I imagine it's like probably a first for the pair of you to like be flying this high, right? Because even if you've flown on these things before down on like flat ground, like the elevation of the mountains and like you're up above them, it's really kind of nuts. So the Wyvern flies for like the better portion of like 6 or 8 hours. You have to drop it down in from time to time, Sharpe, like coming down and trying to like orient yourself off of the land. What's your passive perceptions?
Solid
16.
question.
16. Nice.
It is nice. I'm 14.
I remember that from last time. Okay. So... Okay, you guys are like flying, and it's probably about like 6 hours that you've been up in the air. It's really kind of intense. The wind like biting through you. It's colder than it is on the ground, right? The kind of like that like boat sensation of like your skin being dried from being on the wind all day, right? Look, I don't know that you guys have goggles necessarily. There's like your eyes are kind of like stinging from like the tears being blown out of them, and so you guys are flying along, and Sharpe, you bring the Wyvern down under the cloud cover, and you're kind of surveying all around, and you see what looks like a flock of birds that are off on sort of your 3 o'clock, like off your right wing. And you catch sight of them as well, Hilx, like the pair of you. And you could see it looks like there are 4 of them. and they're kind of like flying in formation, they're doing the bird thing, and they're getting like larger as they're sort of approaching you, and you're like, oh, they're big. Like maybe they're eagles. And then you're like, we've never like seen eagles like flying in like flocks like this. That's weird. They're usually solitary. And then you're like,
This isn't
oh
good.
shit, they're getting like really big. And then you're like, oh shit, those are not eagles, they're griffins. As you realize they have like these lions like legs kind of trailing behind them, these brown tawny tails like flailing out in the wind behind, as they're like now closing in, and they're kind of like within 100 feet, right? And they kind of like spread out, and they're sort of circling around. A few of them are coming in down low. Yeah, what do you got, Hill?
If they were in tight and within 150 feet, I would cast.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
The 4 of them are all like still in a tight pack at 150 feet away.
All right.
Yeah, Sharp would
I am-
shoot too.
I'm going to cast Fireball.
Ooh.
Okay. It's happening now. So let's just do this. How about you guys click on your little tokens here and roll initiative. Because we might as well just
Wrong
do that.
tokens, but we're just going to do that, right?
Yeah, that's fine. It's
Copy.
okay. We're not
All
on
right.
a battle map. We're kind of theater of the minding this
I'm with
jam.
I'm with you.
Oops. Nope, I don't want that. I want this griffin, not a giant eagle. It's tough. There's all these like really cool enemies that I would love to throw at you guys that you never get to use because the party are generally like, the good guys. But meanwhile, you're not high enough level that I could just send gold dragons and shit at you. So,
Oh.
so I kind of hope that these two live for a long time, and someday, like, I can have you fighting gold dragons.
Yes.
Meanwhile, give me. Where's my girl, Collie? Hold on a second. Yeah, we're gonna give her one of these. Oops.
Oh, I got to reset my hit points. I'm guessing I'm good to do that.
Yes, you definitely can reset your hit
Alright.
points. All of you can like fix your your spells. You had your whole spell
Gotcha.
thing. So Sharpe, you're able to go first. You can take a shot. They're 150 feet away.
Yes. Which I believe is in range.
Oh yeah, for your bow, it's like 600 feet at long range. A 16 hits. The bowstring twangs. One of the wyverns takes an arrow. Wow. Minus 11.
Are there anybody on the griffins? Or is
No,
it just
as you
the
see
griffins?
them coming, you see that like they're just griffins, right? And they seem to be like in this like tight formation flying in. Second attack, Sharp.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
20! Sharp's been in 2 combats. This is her like 4th 20, I think.
Nice.
That's
Oh.
16 points of damage.
Still a solid hit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then don't you have Horde Breaker?
Yes. Well, are they within 5 feet of each other?
Not really, I
Yeah,
guess. No,
I
they're
don't
not
think they
like
fly that close
tight.
to each other,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Sharpe sends 2 arrows out as they're 150 feet away. Hilx, you're up next.
Fireball, man.
Fireball. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oof, those are some good rolls.
Yeah, they are.
Unfortunately. So, lead Griffin, like, boom! As the fireball, like, starts to erupt, the one with the couple of arrows in it takes the big hit, like, the full force of the blast. And the others, like, drop, right? You see their wings, like, snap into their backs, and they, like, pitch downwards and just, like, plummet almost out of your line of sight like stones. Each of them taking 11 points of damage. And I think you hear Kali from the back, and she's like, We'd best keep this wyvern alive unless we want to take a very far fall. Hilx, that was your action as you fireball blast into this group of them. Bonus action, anything else?
No, that's it, man.
Okay, the griffins themselves go. And so the one is like badly blasted and kind of like pitches away from the fight, like circling. But the other three, their wings like snap back out and now they're coming up from like underneath the wyvern, like, and so yeah, the griffins will attack. Let me get my wyvern out here actually. It should have its own initiative. Oh yeah, perfect.
Wah, wah.
I know. It's so funny. Couldn't make it more perfect though.
It's an
Okay, the
unruly-
griffins go. They come up, and so I think the two of them are going to attack the wyvern from underneath. And the first one like slams into it. That's bad. Ripping with the claws and the beak for 19. The second one, like circling around to the other side now, like kind of flanking it, comes like crashing into the side. 24 and 16. The 16 hits. It does. They all hit. Okay, that's 19 and 16. That's 35 points of damage onto the wyvern. As like you hear this kind of like screaming, the wyvern's like, "Ah!" and the griffins underneath like, "Ah! Ah!" The fourth one like still at range, you know. Oh, shoot, I lied. I'm gonna subtract one of those 8s because they would have had to like full dash in to get to you all. That's their turn. The wyvern riders go. Here's Sharpe. Not Sharpe. Kali. She like leans out of the side of this saddle with her like long spear and starts like punching out at them. Oof, the critical one. Like she I think like stumbles a little bit and drops the spear as one of the griffins is like, ah, and like snaps at it with its talons. And I think you hear Kali like, son of a, and the spear like clatters out of her hand, plummeting. And Whitestaff is gonna just fire his bow. One of the arrows hits. Because he's a little jerk. He's not going out there with the spear by any means. That's them. The wyvern goes. Do one of you guys want to run the wyvern? You don't have to, but you can.
Sure. Why not?
Here you go. I think you have control of that.
I do. All right.
It's got multi-attack, one with its bite and one with its stinger. They could use the
Okay.
claw instead of one of the other two if it wants.
Cool. That's fun. Yeah, I think it's gonna bite. Where are they? Like in.
So two are like kind of like underneath it, have like dove in and flown up underneath it, and one is kind of just over the back, like behind your saddle, right?
Okay. So I think that it'll do claws to one of the ones below it. Like.
Mhm. It like snaps out with one of the powerful rear legs. 10 is a miss.
Nope.
You see the griffin like, ah! As it like drops and kind of rolls out away.
And then stinger to the one behind it.
Got it. And then the like scorpion stinger snaps up. 20 hits solidly. And it cracks into this griffin behind it, who will make a Constitution save DC 15 and fail, and it takes 40 points of damage. The griffin's like, that's brutal. That was brutal,
Ow.
Taylor. The griffin in the back looks like badly hurt, right? As like feathers like burst off of it and are kind of trailing back around, right? The like wyvern looking past you all in the saddle like, ah! And that brings us back around to Sharpe on 14.
Okay. I will fire at The one that just got hit with the
Okay, we see Sharpe like wheel around in the saddle, the like bow aimed between Wojciech and Kali, hits for 9 points of damage. You're like thunk, and the arrow just like bam blasts it right in the skull. We see like its head kind of roll back as its wings just like go limp, and the body kind of is falling away beneath you like a stone.
Okay. So there are two below it, and then where's the other one?
So the one that you pumped full of arrows, like, also failed its fireball saving throw, so it's still lingering, like, about 150 feet away.
Okay.
It has, like, not closed in with the rest of this group.
Right. All right. So I'll send my second arrow towards that one.
Oh, no. Go for it. I think that, like, we hear it cry. That hits for 6 points of damage, and it's still up, but it proceeds to, like, drop, and it's kind of, like, following the one that's, like, fallen and dead through the air, right? There's, like, this terrible kind of cry of lamentation. Sharpe, that was your action. You have a bonus action?
No, I'm good.
Hilx, you're up on 13. So basically, one wyvern's dead. There's one 150 feet away, badly, like just kind of like keeping itself in the air. And there's two just underneath the wyvern itself.
How does our wyvern look?
Like pretty hurt, you know? It took about a third of its hit points in one shot right there.
All right.
It's down to like 60%.
Okay. I am going to heal our wyvern.
Oh, nice.
I think we're going to go with second level. Well, that sucked.
That's not bad, though. You proceed to... you, like, reach down, like, placing your hand on like the cold scales of this thing outside the saddle and call a prayer to Virago, and you see like some of the blood like kind of dripping out of the sides, these bright red claw wounds and beak bites on the side of it kind of close up and seal over. That's your action. You have a bonus action.
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
Okay. Which is going to bring us to the griffins themselves. They like scream out as this third one like falls, and so they're gonna repeat their attacks into the wyvern. They hate wyverns badly. They're still flanking, so that's actually a 19 and a 24. These both hit, and then the second one goes, which also both hit. That's 25 and 20. That's 45 points of damage. Now the wyvern looks like legit hurt. It's torn up on the undercarriage, and I think we see both the griffins, like, they're going to stay in tight, actually. They don't pull away. They're not going to take the attacks of opportunity. The one at range has begun, like, plummeting straight down. It's now, like, 300 feet away as it's, like screaming down in this kind of like rocket dropping mode, following the one that's dead, right? And now Wojciech and Kali go. Kali, having dropped her spear, is like, son of a bitch. And so she proceeds to... She yanks out her bow and is going to take a shot. It's awkward, though, as she's going over the edge. These attacks. That hits. It's for 7 points of piercing damage. She, like, punches an arrow into one of the griffins that's underneath. And as does Wojciech.
So the griffins are underneath us?
Kind of, yeah. They're like, you're all flying, right? You're all kind of like moving horizontally forward. And so they're like under the wings of the wyverns. of the wyvern you're on, if that makes sense, right? They're not directly like staying there. Everything is kind of moving and ebbing and flowing, but they're striking from like underneath, coming up at like the wyvern's underbelly.
I just picture like a lion trying to attack over its head, and I don't see it. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, but they're like able to rotate,
Yeah,
right?
they have-
And like they have
Okay.
these bird feet for the front, so they can like scrape, and they're kind of like going sideways too, right? This is really what I like imagined them coming in, like
Okay.
pitching a little bit, you know. So that's these guys all firing. Wojciech like sucks. He misses. He's like shooting over the edge, trying to like get the angle straight down. He's terrible. The wyvern does go on 3 though.
Yes. So the wyvern. We'll do another claw at the one that had tried to do before. Nope. 14.
It like lashes out, and we just see the griffin like kind of roll, spinning its wings, tuck, and it opens back up. Okay.
And just follow through with the stinger.
And then the stinger like now arcs down, snapping it, and it hammers into one of them. Yeah, brutal. That's 36 points of damage. They're like, this one's looking very hurt now too. Like one of the two that's underneath is badly injured. That's the wyvern, which brings us to Sharpe on 14.
Okay. I think that she starts like yelling. Like she's at this point she's been like cursing under her breath. At this point she starts yelling. She's like, "Protect the wyvern, god damn it! Shoot! Shoot!" And so yeah, she's shooting. Now she's shooting. She'll shoot at the one that looks hurt, the most hurt. As she like kind of leans,
Okay.
Legolas style, like leans down off the wyvern.
Okay, go for it. 22 hits for 9 points of piercing damage. It is still up. Second attack hits for even just 12 points of damage. We see Sharpe like lean, right? We hear the creaking of leather as like the straps holding her into the like bench are like, and she like arcs over the side like thunk thunk. The second arrow, the first like hits it in the back between the wings, the second like in the neck, and like again the wings just kind of slump and its body crumples as it falls away, like plummeting straight down beneath the wyvern. There seems like there's only one left in range on top of you now. Sharpe, that was your action. Bonus action, anything else? Hilx, you're up.
I am going to heal again. This thing looks pretty rough at this point, right?
It's like half health, so. And there's only one griffin left up, so you make that call as you wish.
All right. How close is the other griffin?
You could reach it. It's like adjacent. It's, next to the Minotaur. Like, what are you trying to do? Hit it with the melee weapon?
Sacred. Nah, I hit it with a sacred flame.
Oh, you could definitely do that for sure.
All right.
So Hilx calls a prayer to Virago, and the blue sacred fire kind of burns down towards it. Misses. These griffins have shitty dex rolls today. And 10 points of like radiant fire damage kind of begin to like just char away at this thing's feathers. It's like screeching now at this point. Hilx, that's your action. Bonus action, anything else?
I don't know when we're going to get to rest again, so I'm really hesitant to just start throwing spells out here.
I don't blame you.
No, I'm gonna.
The wrong
I'm gonna
call.
wait.
Okay. With that, the griffin itself takes another 2 shots at the wyvern. 12 is what it needs. No, misses. Like having like been burned with the sacred flame, the griffin is like disoriented as it like dives in to like snatch the wyvern leg, like kicks at it, and it like grabs kind of futilely with the claw, pitching to like kind of push away. So the wyvern can make an attack of opportunity at it, Taylor.
Did it drop its claw?
Its nails all fall out of its talons.
Yes!
You should have splurged for the high-end ones. Did you lose your wyvern sheet? Did I lose your wyvern sheet?
Did we lose Taylor?
Oh, we lost your audio, Taylor. We can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted. No.
That's
okay.
what it is.
Okay.
I'm just muted. Stinger. Can I just do Stinger?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Great.
Yeah, that's it. Oh,
Ridiculous amount of damage.
I want you guys to like feel this damage again and again, so you're really scared next time you have to fight
I'm terrified already.
Good. This wyvern is just like, no! So it only takes 23 instead of 33 points of damage. You know what's sad? It had 22 hit points. So the stinger, like, poof, punches into it, feathers, like, right? And I think it's just like everything slows as the force of like the wyvern's tail hits the griffin, and we watch the griffin like twist in the air and start falling in this very kind of like macabre as the camera like pitches down, and these other three wyverns all like plummeting out of the air. But meanwhile, like next to you guys for that instant, as the wyvern is kind of like flying out of this space, it's just this puff of feathers, like, and the wind blows. I think the feathers like gust through you. Make a dex check.
Yeah. Just straight dex?
Yeah. You can add your proficiency too, I guess. Whatever. We'll give you a dex save, which would have made it an 11 probably, right?
So like, if it's a dex save, that's +8.
I'll give you your proficiency. I'm going to give you your proficiency. So you can call it an 11, and you manage to like, and like it's one of these things where I think like if you weren't strapped in, you might have fallen out like trying to grab that thing, but you just like get it, And I think, the wyvern's like. And like you kind of like glance over the side of it. You could see its undercarriage is all torn up. There are like shattered, broken scales. Skin is torn. There's kind of like blood like welling up and dripping off of it as it flies. Yeah, and it's like still sailing. The fourth griffin, like following its dead companions to the ground, wants nothing to do with you. Whatever they were just trying to do failed disastrously. What do you guys want to do?
I would turn to Sharpe and just be like, how much further do you think it is? Should we put the griffin down and rest?
Probably. I don't want to stop though.
I don't want to die though.
Fair enough. All right, so I guess that Sharpe will start looking for a safe-ish looking place to land. Try and land this wyvern.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Jeez.
Okay, it takes you a while. And so, like, it's not as quickly as you would have liked. As you're flying, like, everything seems so desolate. You're just looking for a place that you think it can land. You guys can get off, and it will be able to, like, spend the night with like room, right, without leaving you all wildly exposed to like an avalanche or visibility from everywhere else. And so I think it takes you like another hour or so before you finally are like, okay, I see a location. And then you even like misjudge how long it'll take to get there. So like it's quite a ways from when you start looking before finally you're bringing the wyvern into land. Make an animal handling check. Okay, nice. And you're able to like bring it down in like just where you find, right? The thing, like its wings, like it's this wild sensation as the whole like saddle is kind of like vibrating and wobbling. And yes, finally the thing's feet hit the ground, and all of you kind of like yank in the seats a little bit, and it like lands in this clearing.
Well, that was something.
Let me off this thing. I want off.
I gotta admit, I thought those were gonna be more of those laggy things again.
I hope not. How many of them do you think there are out here?
Who knows? Seemed like there was a whole village of them or something.
We're going to camp for the night then?
Yeah, that wyvern needs to dress up.
You want full tents?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but make it subtle.
You, help me get the tents. She like yells at Whitesef. And so he's like, yeah, all right. And so the pair of them start like unstrapping gear and stuff. The wyvern seems a bit pissed off, agitated. And I think Kali is like, we're going to have to take the saddle off of it for the night.
Okay.
Does one of you want to volunteer, or should I have Wojciech help me?
Somebody should feed it, and while we're taking the thing off, so that way it's distracted.
Yeah, that good idea.
Yeah, Wojciech, why don't you hold the piece of meat for it?
Oh, no. Okay, yes, patrol leader, yes. And so we see Whitesef like climbing around in the back of the thing. He like pulls out this like big like haunch of something wrapped in like canvas, soaked in blood, you know. So what do the pair of you want to do? You just gonna like set up camp? You doing anything in particular as you landed here?
I
I
think
think it's what is it? Late in the afternoon or is it evening? What do we have going
Yeah, I think that it's evening now. I think you guys left like a little bit later in the day. It was probably like noon by the time you flew out, so it's like dark, you know. Like darkness is kind of setting in as you've landed here. You landed a little later than you would have liked.
yeah. I think that Sharpe like can she like scout, just like look at the area a little bit and like
Absolutely. Make a what are you looking for?
just looking for like I guess tracks, like making sure that there's nothing that maybe like seems like it has passed through here recently. If there's any signs of something that maybe she has to worry about in the middle of the night.
Make a survival check with advantage. Because of your
Thank
favorite
goodness.
train.
Wow, I'm rolling like garbage tonight. Holy moly.
Hey, that wyvern did 140 points of damage in like 3 rounds. So you start like checking it out, and honestly, Sharpe, it's tough. Like you find what look like some like hooved tracks of the ibex, the big mountain goats that are up here. You see like a predator's track, some kind of like cat, but it's hard for you to gauge like when anything was last through here recently. You don't think there's anything right on top of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess we
So-
should set up watches.
You guys set up your camp. What's the watch order?
It's just going to be a long rest.
I don't know. Is it? That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like I could go for that.
think- Sharpe would try and go last. Be up first.
Yeah, I'll go first and then go to sleep and let
Okay.
the other two deal with the middle of the night stuff.
Okay. So Sharpe, passive perception 16.
So are we in like a hidden little valley or something, or like a?
Okay, so you're up in like kind of like a nook, up in like you know, there's almost like a bowl, a depression on the edge of one
Yeah,
of the
that's
peaks.
what I envision.
Yeah, you're not like at a high peak or something like that, but you've got a ridge of cover so nothing can see you down from that side, and you have good line of sight up the hill next to you, so you feel like mostly sheltered. Anything from the air, like it's the air, you know, but
Right.
so you're in a pretty big area. They set up your tents, you know, these 4 little like pup tents are set up. I think that Kali like asks like, fire, are we allowed to make fire?
No fires.
No fire. So cold dinner, cold water and wine with like, you know, salted meats and dry cheese, and a lot of you all eat. The wyvern, pissed off and cranky, manages to not eat Wojciech when he feeds it. Well,
Oh
should we
no.
make him roll? Let's make him roll for it. Let's go. How you gonna do here, Wojciech?
Oh shoot.
Wojciech has a new best friend. I think like he comes back and he just like, I like this wyvern. Maybe I name him also Hilx. He's like clicking it, yeah. All right, I just keep that to myself. Sorry.
Try again. I don't think that's gonna work for me.
I understand. Not my family, not good with names.
Gotta be a little bit more creative than that.
My mistake. And so, Sharpe, Hilx, neither of you spots anything through your watch in the night. You guys are able to take a long rest. You can get all your hit points back. You can reset your spells and stuff.
Yes.
Wojciech and Kali are both alive when you wake up to take your point in the morning, Sharpe. And
Great.
so I think as the morning kind of rolls around, you eat again. The wyvern, still pretty torn up, but Hilx, you could have, put some spells into it the night before.
All right, so just real quick, I did assume that animals get the same as us with, hit dice. Am I mistaken on that? Because Hilx would have known that. If they don't, then yes, I would have healed the wyvern before I went to sleep.
I think you had to spend some healing the night before. Yeah, I think you take that first watch and you realize he might heal some by tomorrow, but if I want him in best shape,
Okay.
I'll dump my spells into him. And as players, we can do that knowing nothing happens. It's not a big deal. You're able to use your magic, heal him up. And so yeah. As you the next morning, you finish eating in the morning. It's the dawn has just come. The sun just breaking over the mountains. The wyvern is up. It's kind of raring to eat. Wojciech feeds it again, all proud, Kali kind of leads him. You guys break the tents down. You load everything back up. It's an operation, right? It's a big pain in the ass to have to get the saddle back on and strap it in. And the wyvern's pissed off. Wojciech is yelling at it, throwing chunks of meat, but you all pull it off. And so here we go again. You all load back up into the saddle. You strap yourselves in. The wyvern leaping off the side of the cliff, and Sharpe, you start trying to steer it with the orientation you have from the shitty map. So one more time, let's make an animal handling check
Do it.
to kind of gauge your timing coming into this place. 17. Nice. You are much better after the hours of training yesterday. All the wyvern flying 101 basics you got in Evil Soldier Scout School have come back full force. Right. You're 100% on it.
ESSS.
Yeah, Evil Soldier Scout School, ESSS. And so, with your companions in the back of the saddle, the wyvern launches up into the air, and you start steering. And so it's another full day of flying. I think there's a point while you're in the air, you guys see all kinds of things that I could describe for another 3 hours. You see a massive herd of these mountain goats that seem to be on an impossibly sheer ledge of this these mountains around you that's staggering.
If we're going all day, do we want to let the wyvern try to snatch one of those off a hillside and eat it real quick?
Oh yeah.
Let it. So I say that to you. Maybe the wyvern wants to eat.
Sure. Hey, buddy, you want to eat? Look.
And so I think that it's and you slacken the reins and give it its sign that it can steer, and suddenly
Everybody hang on.
It's time to hold on tight.
Yeah. It drops down in, and it's kind of sweeping along the edge of this cliffside, and suddenly this is when you guys feel it, right? Where the thing goes complete freaking sideways and is now flying the wings vertically rather than horizontal along the edge of the cliff. And I think you hear as the two in the back seat kind of fall and shuffle, and let's see how well Wojciech tied in the supplies. Oh, so you hear so shit whoa, and you turn behind you and you see one of the ropes has come loose. The fucking tents are flying out of the back basket. You know what I mean? You see water skins tumbling. Some of the food rations. Kali is you stupid goblin fool. She's cursing at him. But the wyvern, meanwhile, is like, "Rah!" and like punches out at one
Can
of
I
his
make a
mountain
mental
goats.
note of where this is, where our stuff fell off in relation to the peak,
Yeah,
or attempt to?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can go back and recover it.
The wyvern manages to like very handily harpoon a mountain goat that like falls dead off the side of the cliff, and then it like reaches out and catches the goat with its claw, like raising it up to its mouth, where like it starts like eating as it flies, and you're like, oh my god, how brutal utilitarian are these freaking things? So are you trying to go back to get all your
We
stuff
got
now?
to. I mean, we got to, right? I
Do
mean,
we?
let's just. What? Why don't we just circle a little bit, let it eat, and then we'll land and pick our stuff back up.
What did
Either
Okay.
we
that or freeze
drop?
our asses off.
What did we drop?
Tents, food, water.
Oh, like we dropped like everything.
You didn't drop everything, but you dropped a
Well,
little
the
bit of
essential.
everything. Yeah. You dropped some portion of everything.
Okay. Well, all right, fine. I'll try. We'll see how it goes.
Make another animal handling check to get
Yep.
this thing landed just where you want it.
Yep, we're going back down.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. It's like pissed off and kind of aggravated. It like wants to fly back to the goats and kill more, but you're able to kind of get it back down to the ground. And so I think that the trouble is it takes you guys a few hours to start like gathering all the stuff you need that you've lost.
I was
Yeah.
really just hoping the bundles came loose, and the bundles. I mean, it isn't. You're telling me it's like Ski Mountain yard sale. You know what I mean? Like,
A little bit, yeah, because like the tents aren't all strapped into one bundle. Like they're four separate bundles of tents, you know. So there's a tent here and another one there. And when it hit the ground, like the binding exploded, you know. So there's like poles strewn about. The food like fell pretty easily. It's all still like in the container sacks, though the cheese took a bad hit on the ground.
Cheese
you know?
crumbles.
Yep, and but the water is pretty well fucked. Like the water skin's all broke. You know what I mean? The like barrels, like there's just like they're shattered all over the place. You know.
Oh my gosh.
And I think
White
Whitesaph
Seth.
is like grumbling and like, sorry, nobody told me we fly sideways. Tie package, Whitesaph,
We're
they
on
say.
a wyvern. You saw that thing. Next time, if somebody else check it.
I'm sorry, patrol leader. I'm not big patrol leader like you. Fly on wyverns all the time. Don't know these things. Won't make mistake again.
Don't
Praise be
sass me.
Virago.
Sass me. Void Zeph.
So I think the problem is like it takes you guys like an hour or so to kind of get all your shit together, load it back up. You get the wyvern back up in the air, but you're behind schedule, right? And so I think darkness falls as you're like approaching this peak, and like the moon is out. Yes.
if we are behind schedule and it looks like we're gonna have to camp again, then I would say we let it take another goat so we can possibly extend our provisions since we seem to be running late.
Yeah.
Or as many goats as it wants, because it seems to be pretty damn efficient at scooping them up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So I think for the sake of things, as it picks back up in the air, it like circles the kind of goat cliff a couple of times, and it snatches another pair of goats, one of which it eats, and the other of which it's just like kind of carrying with you through the whole flight. Like it knows it's going to be hungry when it's done working for the day, you know. So the question becomes: it's dark as you're approaching the peak of the Titan's Hall. Do you want to camp for the night and come back in the morning, or are you going to fly in the dark? Do you want to like scout it now at night by moonlight, or do you want
full
to come
moon?
back in the morning?
Or
The moon's not full yet, but it was waxing, I believe we said in the other game, and so roughly like, you know, there's moonlight. It's a clear night, so the pink light of Arian is kind of washing over the mountains, right? It's not like as bright as it could be, but it's enough that you, especially, you could see. Yeah.
and weren't there caves? Like, couldn't we just put down by a cave? They said we don't have to explore the cave, but we could sit in the mouth of the cave.
Sure, yeah. You want to like land at the foot of the mountains in one of the foot of the caves, yeah, absolutely. Or you want to go up top and like land by the caves on the top is like,
I don't know. I mean, in a cave, maybe around a bend, we could have a small fire
mm-hmm.
and not give ourselves away.
Maybe
The
we should
question
go
is,
low, like
okay,
to
you
start.
want to bring them in low and like
Yeah.
camp for the night, and then you'll
Yeah.
circle back up to the peak tomorrow. So you're hard pressed. Make a perception check with disadvantage, Sharp, as you're like looking for the place to land.
Can I look too?
Yeah, you totally can. You can
Do
make
I
a
have a
straight.
straight roll because of my
Yes,
natural
favorite terrain.
explorer?
Yes, yes, yes. So make just a straight up
God.
perception check. Okay, and make one as well here. Okay, I think that you
Yeah.
see a spot, and I think Hilx is like able to like point out like, oh no, look, like right near your spot is an even better spot, and so you like bring it down, and you could see that it's kind of wild as you come down in low along the base of this mountain. There's a few different cave entrances, but it's clear that like they're manufactured. There are arches here, right? And they almost look like what we might imagine as like subway tunnels, right? That like classic thing of like there's one here, there's one here, there's another one here. And probably within like 100 feet into each one, like they're collapsed. There's like rubble piled all the way up to the ceiling, right? It's very like almost post-apocalyptic looking, right? These rubble filled tunnels or whatever, and these huge sort of cavernous entryways, tall enough for titans to walk through, even if they had top hats. And so you land the wyvern. Whitesef and Kali are able to kind of remove the saddle again. You guys can set up camp for the night, and you could put a fire in one of the cave mouths for sure.
That's a good band name. Titans with top hats.
Yes, no shit. I'm writing that down too.
Yeah, please.
And,
Somebody write
and
that down.
it like goes right along with the earlier theme of topography.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's the name of the first album, right? Titans with Top Hats present topography.
Oh my
You came for the
I love it.
D&D, guys. You didn't know you'd be getting, sick branding materials
Yeah,
as well.
Titans Hall wasn't about weapons. It's a venue.
Exactly.
Clearly.
For the Battle of the Bards, Abrea edition. So you guys are able to like make your camp for the night. You're able to kind of set a fire and like cook, eat food, kind of scout, right?
Cool.
You gonna follow the same watch things from the night before?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
how is the wyvern fully healed? Does anybody
The
need
wyvern's-
anything?
The wyvern's healed right up.
Okay. All right, never mind. I'm good.
Okay. So Hilx, you take the first watch, is that correct? And then Sharpe, you take the last and you put them in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're gonna rest again, I asked Sharp, do you think I should send an update just saying that we're running a little late, but we're not dead?
Nah. I think Melkainen's busy. Nobody else cares. We'll come back when we get back.
Okay.
Okay. And so you're going to take the first watch, Hilx?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that the fire is like back in the cave entrance a little bit, and the wyvern is kind of curled up sleeping near the entrance to the cave itself. And where exactly would you position yourself, Hilx? I guess that's the question.
Is it windy and cold or no? Or it's not too bad?
It's a pretty still night. I don't think it's raining. It's not windy. I mean, it's crisp. It's that like cold spring night kind of thing. And you're up high in the mountains, so like, it's not warm, but it's not windy or nightmarish weather.
If I'm trying to keep watch, then I would want to be away from the fire. And if there's some type of cover, whether it be boulder or rubble, right outside the mouth of the cave, that's probably where I would sit if I could be obscured somehow slightly.
Okay.
That's what I'd be looking for. I don't know if I could be doing it, but I'd want to be obscured right outside the mouth of the cave.
Got it. Why don't you give me a stealth check?
A what now?
A stealth check.
Okay.
And you're in chainmail, right?
Yeah, but I'm sitting still like that's.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
trying to
I
move.
hear you. No, I hear you.
So All right, hold on a sec.
Oh boy.
Pretty
Nice.
solid.
Okay. So you are situated out here for a couple of hours, and you're like, listening. The wind isn't like ripping along. It occasionally picks up. You kind of hear it howl through the mountains. I think there's a point in the night where you hear the calls of owls, and you're like, damn giant owls. Like, you're sure of it. They're very loud. Um, 14, 21. And so I think that you get up to like head back in to wake up Kali and Wojciech to take the second watch. The wyvern is kind of sleeping over near the edge of the cave. And as you're making your way back into the shelter itself, you hear the sound of like crack as a rock smashes into the wyvern. Bam! Like just off next to you.
I just start yelling. Get
snaps up like, whoa! And you like kind of turn looking out into the night in the darkness. You only have 60 feet of dark vision, right?
How big is this rock?
It's a boulder about as big as you. It's like not quite as big as you, but it's big. It's big, Hilx. Like, it's a goblin-sized rock. If you went in the fetal position, it's that big. And it comes, like, hammering in like it just got launched from a trebuchet, man. Like, it doesn't just, like, roll off a hill, It comes, like, sailing in and smashes into the wyvern. You have 60 feet of dark vision. I think you turn looking back, and you can't quite make out where it came from. But why don't you go ahead and click your token and roll initiative?
I'm yelling at this point.
Yeah, you scream, Sharpe, you're awake, but this round you're basically going to be surprised.
Okay.
And also, I think, unfortunately, you're going to have to fight without your armor on, because are you sleeping in your armor?
I feel like Sharpe would sleep
Okay,
in her
I'll give it to you.
armor.
That's fine. I'll give it to you. I'm not going to be...
Yeah, I feel like she's the type that she, like, doesn't ever take it off.
Got it. The wyvern just took a titanic hit, though, of 25 points of bludgeoning damage from this rock. So basically, you may act, Hilx.
Okay.
Tough position.
Do I see the general angle that the rock came in the cave from?
Yes, it came from kind of like perpendicular to the cave mouth, like along the ridgeline. Like there's kind of like what appear they might be trails to be able to be leading up. So yes, you have an idea of where it came from.
I'm going to move my full movement in its general direction.
Okay, as you start like running in that general direction, you get about 20 feet, and you can now see just at the edge of your dark vision, at like the 60 feet, you're kind of right near the wyvern at the entrance of the cave. This what appears to be like humanoid figure, but it is gigantic. Like really, really gigantic. Makes Melkainen look small and shrimpy. It's probably like about 12 feet tall. It's not as wide and broad as Melkainen is proportionally, but like it is as wide as broad in him. It's just like looks like a kind of lean figure, long legs, long arms, and like flaps of kind of like clothing billowing about it, and you could see it's like pulling out another boulder and like cocking its arm back, getting ready to throw. You've seen giants before. It's a giant.
Okay. Can I cast? We do a Sacred Flame at it, which is 60-foot range.
Okay. it is not able to move fast enough, and so we see this blue fire kind of light up the night for a minute as you see it, and it's got this really like gray kind of stony looking skin. It's a stone giant. This face glaring at you through the night as he's like, "Roar!"
I'm going to follow up with a bonus action and throw a spiritual weapon next to it.
Okay.
Uh,
So your spiritual weapon is like a blue dragon kind of headed axe, right? And so it swings, and we see the giant like twist away from it in the night. You know, the glimmer of light off the spiritual weapon kind of illuminating his face. That's your action. That's your bonus action. That's most of your movement.
Yes. How far away is the giant?
It's exactly 60 feet from you at this point. It's right at the edge of your movement range.
Yeah, so I'm going to move 10 feet back because I had 10 feet left, and then I'm just going to yell, "Giant!"
Okay. On its turn, you hear its footsteps now, like as it's like running hard at you, right? And you see it kind of come into range, and it's like glaring at you as you're behind the wyvern now at this point, and it throws another stone at the wyvern.
God damn.
Which hits for 27 points of damage, and then it just keeps charging in 40 feet move speed, so it keeps charging in. You were 60 feet away, 70 feet away. It's now 30 feet from you, and like getting real close to the wyvern as it's got like a huge club made of stone in one of its hands. That's its turn. The wyvern goes. It was unfortunately surprised. New round. Okay, Sharpe. Your eyes are open. You're like at the back of the cave, kind of laying next to the fire. You're solid, probably like 40 feet away from Hilx. The giant's 30 feet from him, right? So you're like 70 feet away from the giant itself. You see, just like the dim light, the kind of pinkish glow from the moonlight outside the cave entrance, the silhouette of this like 12-foot tall stone giant. And I think you know a lot about giants.
I know lots about giants. So I think that she like wakes up with a start, like instinctively like immediately grabs her bow, and then like she kind of smiles and stands up. And then she'll like yell in giant at it as she like steps forward and knocks her arrow. It's like, "Come to death!" And like she fires the arrow.
Bonus action, anything like that, or are you just gonna go for it? You just go for it.
Oh yeah, can I hunter's mark?
Okay, you hunter's mark.
Yeah.
You fired. That's an 18, which hits. For 10 plus hunter's mark, second attack. 11, got it. 14 misses. The second arrow like sails through the cavern, right? And you see it like connect and just deflect off the rocky skin of this thing, right? And I think it yells back into the cave in giant like, "You blaspheme on this place! You will die here." Sharpe, that's your bonus action. That's your action. You have movement.
Nah, I'm good.
Hilx, you're up.
All right. And it's still closing towards me?
Yeah, I mean, it's the wyvern is in between you and it, right? So like it's really closing on the wyvern, but yes.
The wyvern has moved out of the mouth of the cave?
It's like in the mouth of the cave, and you.
Because I thought I was outside the cave.
You were, and then like you started heading back in, as like I said, it attacked, right? Like the wyvern is between you and it, so it looks like it might be closing on the wyvern more so than you. Like it's focusing all its attacks there so far, right?
All right. Man, I'm thinking fire is not the best thing against a stone giant, but I don't really know for certain.
Well, I mean, it's not a fire giant, so it might not be that bad.
I am going to lead with another spiritual weapon. I'm going to get rid of the other one and throw another one up here.
And it misses. It swings to no avail.
Okay. And I will try to hit it with a guiding bolt.
Okay, go for it.
And I'm going to upcast it.
The guiding bolt also misses, right? The bluish axe like swings, the blue bolt leaps off your hand, sailing past it into the night air. It's very fast and agile for a thing this big. That's your action. That's your bonus action. You have movement.
I'm gonna try to get off to the side so that I'm not attacked by this thing, because I don't think I'd survive a round.
Okay. You fall back a bit as it comes like charging up. Now it goes. Wait, your scouts go first. You hear like Wojciech yelling from the back of the cave, like, Hilx, what's happening? And then you hear Kali just like, get your bow, you idiot! And she like leaps up and suddenly is like right behind you, Sharpe, as you hear the bowstring twang. Both arrows deflect off of the giant. Wojciech like stumbling up behind, like, where's my bow? Where's my and like he like kind of shambles past you on all fours, like grabbing his bow, you know, like he points it up and he fires twice. And then the stone giant goes, ooh, Wojciech, not useless. Ooh, Wojciech with the killer. He takes 2 shots from the ground. Thunk, thunk. You see these arrows like hammer into this thing low. Right. It goes, it steps up to the wyvern, and it's just like, I hate these things. It's saying in giant, like, how dare you return? And it raises the club and just double taps it. Crack! The second hit misses as the wyvern is like mad, thrashing around wildly now. Takes another 21 points of bludgeoning damage. And the wyvern goes. It just proceeds to like leap up. And yep, bite, stinger.
The poor bastard.
The bite lands. The stinger is coming, and he like swats it away with this club. He takes 14 points of damage, and the wyvern then like leaps up into the air to fly away as the stone giant proceeds to take an attack of opportunity. As the wyvern's like flying, the giant like swats it with the club again. It's like badly, badly hurt as you hear it like scream, and it like is up into the night sky. Sharpe, you're up on 24.
My goodness.
Well, the free target's gone. I don't know about thank goodness, but this is going to be rough.
It's lots of tough things here. What happens if the wyvern dies and you all get trapped? Like, what happens if the wyvern dies and it decides to attack you?
Just gonna take some more shots at it.
Go for it. It's still Hunter's Mark. 20! Yes! Sharpe. So that's 13 plus double Hunter's Mark. Nice. 13, 19, 22 points of damage as this arrow like plunges into this thing. Second attack. 23 hits for 11 plus Hunter's Mark. It's so good. Got it. Oops. I just fucked his hit points up real good. Okay, got it. That is Sharpe's action. Bonus action, anything else?
Mm-mm.
Hilx, you're up.
All right, I'm going to move that spiritual weapon in.
Mm-hmm.
And I will lead with that.
The spiritual axe, this blue, glimmering, dragon-headed axe comes closing in from behind. Woo, and he just, like, pivots, like,
Dude, I need to roll a 10 to hit him probably, and I can't roll a 10. It's unbelievable. All right.
Hey, Nate Crawler, thank you for that.
I think the next one I will. Has he been hurt at all?
The giant? Badly. Yeah, dude, he's messed up as you like see him now standing, the firelight flickering out of the cave entrance. Like he's got arrows all up in him, he's bleeding.
Dong.
The tolling of the dead.
Toll the dead.
I think he has a really good con save. Wisdom save. That's not that good. Oh, that's
We get a D12.
2d12.
Yeah.
2D12? Oh, you're right.
Yeah. You got them levels. Nice. 14 points of damage as the toll, the toll of the dead rings. He's like, you see him like grab the side of his head. Hilx, that's your action. That's your bonus action. You have movement.
I'm going to move back closer to my friends, but I don't want to be close enough that one boulder could take us all.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So you start falling back into the cave a little bit. Arrows sail past you, Sharpe. One of Wojciech's like punches into this guy. And Wojciech like, I am blessed! And at this point, the giant like, gosh, how far back are you now? Like 70 feet. The giant throws a boulder at you, Hilx.
Oh.
18?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
Oh, yeah, he says that hits.
Just hits.
You take 18 points of bludgeoning damage and need to make a strength saving throw.
Sweet.
And a con save on your spiritual weapon. Or no, it's not concentration. We do this every time.
Yeah.
So you are like barreled completely over. Sharpe, you see this boulder like launched, just takes Hilx clean in the body. And
how many hit
like,
points?
18. He's picked up off his feet and smashed back down into the ground. As at this point the giant like starts running. It like turns and like darts out of the cave mouth, and so it breaks line of sight with all of you. You hear the wyvern scream in the sky from outside. Sharpe, you're up. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna run as far as I can to see if I can still see it.
Okay, you move your full movement of 30 feet, and you're like trying to catch an angle, and you can just kind of make out its silhouette in the darkness, but because you don't have dark vision, you'll have to attack with disadvantage. But you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 still hits. Plus Hunter's Mark. And so as the giant has like got his back to you and is turning to like race up the hillside, you like aim at this like amorphous silhouette. And the arrow sails silently through the darkness, and you just hear as it falls, the club like rolling away from it, rocks tumbling down all around it to kind of bury it partially. And then there's an instant of like silence before you hear like the scream of the wyvern from outside in the dark night sky.
Good. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. I think she'll try and go. She'll go to Hilx and like pick him up, like pat him on the back. Like, you okay?
No, I don't think so. My watch is done. Who's next?
That is the perfect drop the mic moment. And so I think with that, like the camera like pulls out of the cave entrance. We see Wojciech and Kali kind of come up, the four of you standing around the fire, the silhouette of the giant dead outside the cave. And yeah, I think that everybody else is tense throughout the night. You all take watch. The wyvern does return. You find him with the dawn feasting on the corpse of the giant. You're able to kind of pick through its sack. You find a good little haul old trinkets and items, probably scoured from the ruins of this place over its years here. And with the dawn, I think you're all able to kind of saddle your wyvern back up. Hilx gives it a bit of healing, and you can fly up towards the summit. But I think your route to the summit, you realize, like, this place is probably still a blasted ruin inside the mountain. Whatever fortifications lay within, there's no clear entrances. Doesn't seem like there's any type of civilization here in the way there was at Erkengard. But you notice a few points where there's rope ladders on the exterior of like the mountain itself, that the paths look like cleaned, as though people have tread up and down here. And when you make it to the anvil of the gods, like at the top of the mountain itself, it's like very well tended and clean. And so I think it's like Hilx and Sharpe and Wojciech and Kali are kind of strapped into this big bench saddle in the back of the wyvern. The camera kind of taking in the sight of, like, it's very like Minas Tirith almost. It almost looks like that like thing that our good Lord Denethor runs and jumps off of in the Return of the King. There's like this big sort of like plinth, almost like the prow of a ship. It's kind of shaped, that juts out into the open air off the side of the mountain from the peak. And sitting like at the end of that is this massive like black metal anvil, right? With kind of like cobblestones leading back to the mountain itself. And you can see there are paths leading all up around it, and there appear to be cave entrances heading back down into the mountain from above. So what you will report when you return is a story for another day, perhaps. But Hilx and Sharpe have made it to Titan's Hall. And we'll have to see what the future holds for their fate when we come back again on Firelight Tales, because I think that this is where we leave our adventurers tonight.
Crazy.
Oh, man.
Unless there are any last buttons that you two would like to put on Hilx or Sharpe before they fade into the background for a moment.
No, but I mean, you kind of screwed me, because now there's two sets of characters that I want to pick up and play.
Yeah.
I know. I know. Dude, he's so good.
Yeah, I love it.
It's cool. Look at it this way. He's just a potential replacement for if Ulrich dies. So it's all good. It's all good. It's all great. It's
Oh
good.
my gosh.
Was that fun, you guys? I really had fun
Yes.
with this. I don't know what it is, but I had so much fun.
It's fun.
With these characters. Yeah.
I
Was
love
that
being
less
a
painful,
ranger.
Taylor?
I miss it.
Rangering?
Yeah.
Rangers are cool. Space Ranger. I'll just
Yeah.
throw that out there. I hope that was cool. I really enjoyed this little like foray with these two. I really liked the characters. I liked having the opportunity to like dig into the Legion a little bit and like be like, I know what they're doing and I know what they're thinking, but to role play it is different than to be like all this stuff is happening off screen.
You know, you let the cat out of the bag. You told us who was under the hood in the corner. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Oh, I mean, I gave you all the hints last
Yeah.
time about who was
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
hood in the corner, but yeah, like it was intentional. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of these things that, like, all these different mediums for fiction, you know, and in books, you can pull off some crazy shit where you can have a character, like, be in the scene without realizing who it is, you know. We could do some stuff like The Hound, like Game of Thrones kind of stuff, right? Of like, oh, yeah, there's, like, a big hulking guy over there, and whatever, don't pay too much attention. But
Yeah.
it's hard to do that with stuff like film and television where you have like a recognizable actor, right, that we're gonna like acknowledge seeing. And so I'm always finding it interesting and challenging to like split the difference, because I think like when we do this, so much of it is like film and TV, but so much of it is like books too. Like we're playing with words and imagination, and we
Yeah.
can like hide things intentionally, but sometimes it's like, nah, like we the viewers should know who that is. rather, like, even if it doesn't mean anything to Sharpe or Hilx, like, we should know who that is because, like, we're the ones invested in the story, right? So yeah, that was totally intentional. Well,
Nice.
cool. This was really fun. I tried not to make you kill people that you knew and loved this week, Taylor.
Thanks.
No
No, I
problem.
just killed like an ancient creature that was defending.
He wasn't that ancient. He just was giant. Don't sweat it. And you'll totally have to kill more of those with the good guys, so don't worry about it.
Okay, all right,
I'm
all
just
right.
kidding.
I was gonna say Eerie would be dead instantly if she ever got hit by something like that.
Oh yeah, I know.
Instant death.
Welcome to wizard problems.
Yeah, really.
Cool. John, you didn't have anything to promote or plug. Taylor, what's going on with you? Where should people go look for you or check you out, or what's your story these days?
Twitter, Rania422, Instagram, Rania422_. Keep an eye on my stickers. I've got my Redbubble shop. Hopefully you will be getting a Cricut very soon, so I'll be able to make my own stickers, and I'll probably set up an Etsy shop or something cool. So
you should
keep an eye
talk
out.
to our friend. I'll DM you rather than doxing them here live on this stream. That sounds cool. Go check her out. Ronia422, happy birthday. If this is your final birthday wishes of the week. I will say we had a really fun week tonight. Kings of Neon last night was wild. Taylor blew some shit up. She dropped some like major truth bombs. So if anybody's been following along with that and is like curious, like, but who are these characters? Yeah, go watch last night's episode because some big truths were revealed, and we ended on like the ultimate cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about that. I cannot wait to come back next week. Will be the something of May, the 3rd of May. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Firelight Tales, Titans Heirs, back to the main story. We will follow the Titans Heirs as they head into the tomb of Gural Khan. See what lies inside. It's a minotaur. And so I will also say that next Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow, May the 4th, be with you. We got a new show coming, dropping here at Twitch TV/DM Philly. It's going to be dope. It's going to be 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. There are going to be some familiar faces. For the people who hang out at post-show recap, some very familiar faces, and I am hype. So don't miss that shit. May the 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. D&D. Something exciting. That's all I'm going to tease there. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Come follow me on Twitter, Warfret1625. Let me know if you guys dug this, if you thought the last couple of episodes were fun. Thank you, Bug-a-Bear.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had fun. Thank you for being here every week. We really appreciate you. I love you. It means a lot. And with that, I will say good night. Good night?
Night, everybody.
Okay, good night. Good night. Good night.